There are people in your life right now who are less talented, less intelligent, and less hardworking than you, and they're ahead of you. That's not unfair. That's what happens when someone understands the rules and you don't. Talent doesn't win. Strategy wins. And strategy follows laws that most people will go their entire lives without learning. Here are 12 of them. Law 1. People will forgive almost anything, except losing their money. Machiavelli wrote something so cold most people think he was joking. That men will sooner forgive the death of their father than the loss of their inheritance. He wasn't joking. Touch someone's ego and they'll recover. Touch their security, their income, their status, their material comfort, and they'll hate you in a way that never heals. If you want to understand what someone truly values, don't listen to what they say they'd die for. Watch what they destroy a relationship over. It's almost always money. Anyone who ignores this will be blindsided by people they thought they knew. Law 2. Learn when not to be good. This is the one that made Machiavelli infamous. He wrote that a man who tries to be good in all things will inevitably be ruined among so many who are not good. This isn't permission to be cruel. It's a warning. There are moments in your career, your relationships, your life, where being nice is the wrong move, where honesty will be punished, where setting a boundary makes you look like the villain. If you can't handle being seen as the bad guy when the situation demands it, people who can will run circles around you. Goodness is a choice. Make sure it's a choice, not a reflex you can't turn off. Law 3. It's better to be feared than loved, but never hated. Most people quote the first half and miss the second. Fear means people respect your boundaries. They think twice before crossing you. They take you seriously when you speak. Hatred means they're waiting for you to fall, and they'll help push. The line between the two is thinner than you think. Fear comes from consistency. Hatred comes from cruelty that feels personal. You can be someone people don't want to cross without being someone they want to destroy. That balance is everything. Law 4. Everyone sees what you appear to be. Almost no one experiences what you really are. Machiavelli understood that perception is the only reality that matters socially. You can be brilliant, honest, and capable, and lose to someone who simply looks the part better than you do. This isn't about faking. It's about understanding that people don't judge you on your character. They judge you on the version of you that reaches them. Control that version. Be deliberate about what people see, what they hear about you, what impression you leave behind when you walk out of the room. Because the story people tell about you when you're not there is more powerful than anything you'll ever say to their face. Law 5. Never depend on people who have no stake in your outcome. Machiavelli called them mercenaries, soldiers who fight for pay, not for cause. In your life, they're the people who help you when it's convenient, the advisor who gives you direction but carries none of the risk, the partner who's there during the easy stretch but disappears when things cost something. Build with people who lose when you lose. Everyone else is rented loyalty, and rented loyalty returns itself the moment a better offer comes along. Law 6. If you must be harsh, do it all at once. Most people do the opposite. They deliver bad news slowly. They set boundaries gradually. They make hard decisions in pieces, spreading the pain across months. Machiavelli said this is the worst approach. Gradual harshness keeps the wound open. People never adapt because they never stop being hurt. Do it once. Do it clean. Let the shock pass and let people rebuild around the new reality. One decisive moment of pain heals faster than a year of slow cuts. This applies to firing someone, ending a relationship, or restructuring your entire life. Law 7. The person who made you powerful is the most dangerous person in your life. Machiavelli wrote that whoever becomes the cause of another's power is ruined. The mentor who built you knows exactly how you were built and every weakness in the foundation. The friend who introduced you to the right people knows where you started and can reframe your story anytime they want. This isn't about cutting people off. It's about understanding that gratitude and dependency are not the same thing. Appreciate who helped you rise, but never hand them a permanent seat at your controls. Law 8. People want to be deceived. Machiavelli observed that men are so simple and so governed by their present needs that one who deceives will always find those willing to be deceived. People don't want the truth. They want the version of reality that requires the least from them. The comfortable lie, the easy explanation, the leader who tells them everything will be fine. Understanding this isn't about becoming a liar. It's about recognizing that when you tell people the truth they don't want to hear, they won't thank you. They'll resent you. And they'll run to whoever tells them what they wanted to hear in the first place. Law 9. Fortune controls half your life. Preparation controls the other half. Most people prepare for nothing and blame luck for everything. Machiavelli compared fortune to a flood. It destroys everything in its path, but only in the places where no one built walls. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how exposed you are when it hits. The people who survive chaos aren't luckier. They built the walls before the storm. Financial cushion, skills that transfer, relationships that hold weight, options, always options. The person with no options is a person the world can do anything to. Law 10. When you enter new territory, the old guard will try to destroy you. Every time you start a new job, enter a new social circle, or step into a new level, there are people already there whose position depends on things staying exactly the way they are. Your presence threatens that. They won't announce it. They'll smile, offer help, show you around, and quietly work to make sure you never gain real footing. Machiavelli warned that there is nothing more difficult than taking the lead in introducing a new order of things. The people who benefited from the old order will fight you. The people who might benefit from the new one will only offer lukewarm support because they're not sure you'll survive. Expect resistance. Plan for it. Don't be shocked by it. Law 11. The promise you make when you're desperate is the first one you should question when you're strong. Desperation makes you agree to things that a stable version of you never would. Bad deals, lopsided partnerships, commitments that made sense when you had no leverage but now serve as chains. Machiavelli understood that circumstances change and the agreements made under duress shouldn't govern your life permanently. This doesn't mean betray everyone. It means audit your commitments regularly. Ask yourself, would I agree to this today from a position of strength? If the answer is no, renegotiate or walk away. Loyalty to a bad deal isn't honor, it's self-destruction. Law 12. Adapt or die. The rigid always fall. Machiavelli watched leader after leader collapse for the same reason. They found one strategy that worked and used it forever. The world shifted. They didn't. He wrote that the man who adapts his course of action to the nature of the times will succeed. and the man whose course of action clashes with the times will fail. The thing that got you here will not get you there. The personality that worked in your 20s will strangle you in your 30s. The strategy that built your career will eventually be the one that limits it. The only constant law is that nothing stays constant, and the person who refuses to change becomes the easiest person in the room to predict, outmaneuver, and replace. These 12 laws didn't come from a self-help book. They came from a man who was tortured, exiled, and stripped of everything, and instead of breaking, sat down and wrote the most honest book about power that's ever existed. Machiavelli didn't write The Prince because he was cruel. He wrote it because he learned with his wrists strung up in a prison cell what happens to people who refuse to see the world as it actually is. You're in the game. You've been in it since your first day at school, your first job, your first relationship, where someone had more leverage than you and used it. The only question is whether you keep playing blind, or you finally learn the rules that everyone who's ever outmaneuvered you already knew. The laws don't care if you believe in them. They operate anyway. Stay out of reach